Yes.
Yeah.
The coffee, whatever it is.
Yeah. I just got the coffee. Yeah. All good. Yeah.
Oh God, that's a long speech.
No, it's not a speech. I'm just faking it. It's not a speech. Nothing
Yeah.
of this would be good. It's just the event plan. Interesting.
So we'll send you the link. And I think I don't know which you have. I don't have a phone, but I will email.
You have a WhatsApp anyway. Yeah, you can send it.
So I send it to you. It's posted on your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah.
One of the link.
Yeah.
Oh, joining link.
And yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Just share it to me. Please put it on. Put it on LinkedIn now. Put it on LinkedIn post also. Put it on LinkedIn.
Put it in our
And the
website.
ICS link, and then we'll repost it.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Thanks very much. Meena Mathews. Ravi, Shankar.
Yes. Before I call you, one of our
Yeah, but
sponsors
so-
want
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
leave early.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
going to say, ask him to say how
Yeah.
great ICS is and say a few words.
Yeah. Don't worry. When you call me, I know you've
I'm
called me.
trying
You
to
know.
think which one looks fancier. I think both are almost
Oh, I
okay,
think
but
yours is a bit
is
fancier. Yeah.
it's fancier, but yours truly represents what I must be wearing some brooch.
Yeah.
It's like, I have so many brooch collections. and it's
International
one of
Cricket
them.
Council or the
I felt that.
International Criminal Confederation. That's more like me, I think. You know. Yeah.
Yes, in disguise, because you know what, criminals are usually having a very pleasant smile.
Yeah.
You don't know what's
Misleaded.
behind them.
Yeah.
You may just take a pistol. Right, nice to meet you finally here, Vincent. I hope this is just a starting point, as I said.
Yeah,
And
of course.
eventually we should do a lot where you organize something and we step in. And
Yeah.
I don't know when that happens.
Yeah,
It
it'll
cannot be a
happen.
yearly event. I'm telling
No,
you.
no.
Don't say it will happen.
No. At least quarterly. Yeah.
That would be good. Let me write down my burning questions.
Mentorship matters. Amazing how inspired you get when the pressure is mounting.
Yes. No, nothing. I mean, it's just probably we can take it as a very casual and funny kind of a thing.
Oh yeah,
Because we will make it lively.
We'll make it lively. That's for absolutely sure. Yep.
So, what's your personal opinion regarding if you have too much of mentors? I mean, like more than two, I mean, more than one mentor. Will it work?
Yeah, I think you could have many mentors at different stages of your development, and they can be completely different in their in the way they actually have an impact on your life. You know, my best mentor that I had I used to drive him crazy. You know, he used to keep saying to me, you know, Vin, you'd be great if you could just get your act together. So even now, before I start this, it's going through my mind. This can be great if I get my act together. So that phrase has stuck with me. Everything I'm doing, you know, your things are loose ends or whatever, and I just say Jim's words come back to me. Vin, this can be great if you get your act together. So that means I really need to brass tacks, focus on what I'm doing, and make it happen. You know, so. And then you learn other skills from other people. You know, I learned from another guy, another mentor, the power of humor. you know,
Yeah.
which is quite incredible if you crack it, you know. So, and tech. Ali,
How are you?
how are you? Good to see you. Yeah, all good.
How are you? I don't think they're going to use the podium, right? You can sit together.
I'll just sit here, and then Meena will be next to me, and then I think it's Ravi, and then you and Cameron at the end. Yeah, that's the plan.
So when you talk about your mentorship, I mean your personal kind of mentorship,
I won't be talking too much. It'll be you, but just a little bit, you know.
maybe 3-4 minutes, right? And then you should start, right? 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
I'll just do an intro at the beginning, and then
you will interfere.
yeah, I'll be the intro. You'll be sitting there. I'll go up. You follow me. Take your seat. I'll do a little intro, and then I'll introduce you by just saying your name and your position in the organization, whatever. And then I said, well, now we have the labels and the names, but we don't really know about the people. So maybe 30 seconds each, and maybe start with Meena because she's beside me. You know, give us a snapshot.
Just to introduce yourself.
This is just introducing herself. I've been involved in.
After that, you will be talking about.
Yeah, what happens next after that is I'll say, well, to the all, well, what is this mentorship thing all about? What is a mentor? So let's have your take, guys, on what is a mentor or what is mentorship? What's a mentor? And then someone will say it's a guide, someone will say it's whatever. And we just go around and we ask that. And I said, very interesting. I picked some words that you say, and I say, okay, well, I'm sure there's a lot of interesting stories behind these words, you know, about people or persons who've had an impact on you. Maybe some of you would like to share, and you don't need to wait to go across. If you wanted, you could say, well, I just one short story then. And I say, yeah, go ahead, Joy, yeah. And, well, it can be whatever. When I was going to high school, when I was on a sports team, when I did my first case, when anything, you know. And I think the story is short and sweet because then we can keep coming back in and out, you know. And keep an eye on the screen. If something comes up, then you think is kind of relevant or something. Even if I don't say it, right, or see it, but you feel it's good, say, well, could I just make a point about what's on the screen? And I go, screen, and you can say, yeah, there's a question here saying that. So don't. Even though I'm the moderator, you go for it. And as long as we keep everybody getting in and out on the discussion, there's no other rules. My job is to get everyone the chance to say what they want to say. That's really it, you know.
What's your session?
Oh, yeah.
Promoted, get some
Yeah.
more members.
Oh, we've sent out a few blasts to our members, but we've sent out a few more. Yeah.
So far we have 2.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll come. They come close.
They always do. It's always the same, coming near deep. Yeah. I'm going to give Incoterms books. Yeah. If you want to promote it, you could say all participants will get a complimentary ICC Incoterms book from ICC. Because I have books to spare. If you want.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. You're not because you're promoting 2 events right today. One is this one. We're getting people to just scan the QR code and say you have an early bird, including it's
The
finished.
navigate
Oh,
series, right?
okay.
Yes, I am doing that. But by the way, I have a question here. I want to check this slide.
Good evening. Nice to see you. Yeah, I know. Nice to see you. Yeah, many times. Yeah, thank you. When I go up, I might actually do my intro from the podium. But you just go and take your seat. Sure. Yeah. And I'll then be about 1 minute, blah, blah, blah.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for coming, especially after your working hours, which I know is typically a challenge, and we made it. That's also a success. But I was just counting the amount of the number of events that we have done so far, especially some of these networking events, and this is one of our 8th events. And what was even more interesting was that most of our topics were not always associated with shipping, chartering, and ops, because I think Captain Zayed very carefully injected quite a lot of key topics and functions around sales, how to craft better sales narratives, how to even, engage your marketing teams, run better campaigns. So this was very carefully inserted between some of the mainstream topics that we have discussed so far. And none of this, I would say, would be possible without our sponsors. So I would like to thank our sponsors today, our high-key sponsors, ABS and Alliance. And thank you so much for all your support, without which it would not have been possible at all. But I would like to call Captain Dheeraj Sharma on stage to share a few words, please. Thank you.
Whoa.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, I was just told an hour ago that you'll go on stage and share something. Thank you very much, Zayed, Thani. It is a pleasure being here, pleasure being a part of ICS, and it is indeed a privilege to support ICS Middle East. I was asked this question that, you have to go and say why ABS is supporting ICS. I've been in the Middle East for almost close to 2 decades now. The last couple of years, we have seen ICS Middle East, the team, doing a fantastic job. You're connecting, collaborating, young talent, industry personnel, players, you're getting them all together. The last event which you had was fantastic. And our perspective, ABS perspective, ABS has always believed in giving back to the marine community. And I think this is one of the best ways to do it. Apart from that, I think ICS and ABS share something else in common. That is, our mission statement talks about preserving life, preserving the environment. ICS, the ethos of their training, the ethos of the courses they do, goes along the same line. So I think there's a synergy there. The committee here in the last couple of years has amped up, UAE's maritime significance. Maritime commerce in UAE has grown exponentially over the last, I would say, 2 years. And you guys are doing a fantastic job. And for us, to sponsor this, it's a privilege. And we'll continue to do so. Lastly, I will use this podium to announce that this winter or early next year onwards, we have started a program for internships. So we'll be asking ICS also to nominate some people. We'll start with an internship program, and then let's see how that goes. Maybe we'll be part of ABS, but at least we'll try to, give some knowledge back. Thank you so much. Have a lovely week. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Captain. Definitely encouraging with the last statement you made. And now moving on to the main event. I was just speaking to Vincent. I'll kindly do an introduction shortly, but before that, I was really excited with this topic that we have on mentorship today. And I said, me personally, I'm hoping to get several questions answered if I can. If I have to state a few, should I always have a physical human being my mentor, or do you see any drawbacks in having an AI being your mentor? Right? Reverse mentorship. Do we have any possibilities? Do we all believe reverse mentorship is possible? I'm glad you're taking notes as well, Vincent, while I say this. And our mentors more or less is GPS for growth, because we are looking at growth enablers and not just problem solvers on which direction to take, because that is not going to lead to fruition at all. And if mentors have all the answers to all the questions that you have, so why do we see just the best ones keep asking questions? That's more important. And how quick a mentee can be a mentor. I'm not asking for a quantitative answer, but few qualitative levers at this point. So without any further ado, may I please welcome the Director of ICC and our best friend, Mr. Vincent, on stage, please.
Thank you very much, Janini. That was really nice introduction, but I think my team can come on stage with me and they can get settled while I make a very brief introduction. Mentorship matters and it really can elevate your organizational success. So we're going to hear from some experts today. I am the moderator and I will be here. That's my spot. I'll be the moderator, but just to let you all know, I am not a very moderate moderator, okay? So we're going to keep on time, we're going to make it engagement, and we're going to make these people work for their supper, okay? So with Mentorship Matters, I'll take a seat, and I hope you can all hear me still, okay? Okay. Right. Is that better? You can all hear me now. You can all understand me now. Well, that's amazing because most days I don't understand myself. So you're doing really good. Well, let's just get underway. And we have Dr. Meena Mathews here, who from WISTA, Women's International Shipping and Trading Association. We have Ravi Shankar, who is Vice Chair of Institute of Chartered Shipbrokers Middle East Branch. We have Thattil, who is the Secretary General of Dubai Shipping Agents. And then last but not least, we have Cameron Livingstone. I love that name, Livingstone. It's even better than The Rock. It's actually Livingstone. So it's quite amazing. So we're the Secretary General, now we're the General Secretary of the Maritime Association. So guys, what's this mentorship all about? But maybe before we get there, just a short 30-second intro. We have the labels of who you are, but just a little bit about the person and your background, maybe 30, 40 seconds, something like that, Meena.
Okay. My name is Meena Mathews, as you've seen on the screen, and as I've just been introduced. Well, I am a lawyer by profession and have been doing this for 3 decades, where I specialize in shipping, marine law, insurance, and risk management. I've been in this industry for 3 decades now, too long, I would say, and my work has been deeply rooted with P&I claims management and client advocacy. It's my privilege really to be here, and I'm honored that ICS and Zayed and the team has asked me to take part in this conversation, which is very close to my heart really, and to share my insights from my journey in my life and how mentorship can elevate not just individuals. I think it shapes resilient individuals, professionals, but also businesses and communities that they serve. This is my opinion, but we will get into deeper topics soon. So I'll pass the mic.
We sure will, Meena, and a lot of experience there. So Ravi, give us a snapshot. Over to you.
Thanks a lot, Vincent. It is always a pleasure to be with you. Always enriching and exciting. Thanks a lot. And you always fill the room with energy. So this is very amazing. Thanks, Meena. So my name is Ravi, and I'm the Vice Chair of ICS. With ICS, I've been associated for now about 20 years or so. Last 30 years in Dubai, before that in India. I have been General Secretary for about 6 years. Now I'm the Vice Chair, and hopefully next year I'll be taking over the chairman of ICS. So when me and Captain Giri were discussing what to bring forth to our people who love ICS, who want to be part of ICS, and people who always take out something from the ICS event.
True. So
what should we bring? And then we came up with this idea of mentorship, and we wanted to club this with the supporting organization, the WISTA, the DSAA, the ICC, and the Nautical Institute or EMLA. So we wanted to, because we are working together with a lot of these supporting organizations to bring the maritime education, maritime knowledge, and increase the professionalism in the maritime sector.
Okay, well, that's what we're going to do this evening. So now we'll move on to some words of joy from Joy regarding his background.
Thank you very much, Vincent. So my name is Joy Thattil. Joy is my name, Thattil is my family name, Itu is my father's name. And I'm a lawyer by profession for the last 25 years. though I'm coming from a large family of engineers, means I have 4 brothers and 3 sisters. I'm the youngest one. So all of them are engineers. So because a lot of mentors at home have decided not to become an engineer, I stood out from the crowd and become a lawyer. So, but today I'm sitting in the shoes of the Secretary General of the Dubai Shipping Agents Association, an organization which has been here for the last 25 years, along with a very strong pillar we have, none other than Madam Dr. Diana Nandakumar, who is sitting here. So thank you very much for the opportunity that's given to the Dubai Shipping Agents Association.
Thank you, Joy. Cameron.
Thanks very much. My name is Cameron Livingstone. I'm here as the Legal and Compliance Manager of the Medical Institute UAE branch, and I'm also the Secretary of the Emirates Maritime Law Association. Like some of the others, I am a lawyer, but most of my background is working at sea, working in ships. So I started at sea when I was 16 as just a teenager in commercial fishing, and sailed in the Royal Australian Navy as a warfare officer, and then finally on LNG tankers for Shell. Most of the context that I'll be speaking about in mentorship today is from a military perspective, the ability to lead and influence others and teach other people to do the same. The flavour, I suppose, that I'd like to speak about it with is that I believe the role of a mentor is not to guide the mentee on a path that they think is best for them. It's more to hold a mirror up to that person, to the mentee, hold a mirror up to them and assist them to work out the path that they want to go down. Assist them to understand, to identify the strengths that they may not realise they have and amplify them, and attempt to assist them to identify weaknesses that they might have and how to.
Okay, Cameron, we'll go into that detail coming right up, but that's really interesting. So we have lawyers, we have engineers, we have technical people, we have risk managers, we have a military focus. Wow, this is going to be very, very exciting. But I got to tell you a fact about these wonderful people, because they all look wonderful, and I'm supposed to be wonderful as well. But, you know, none of you would be where you are today. None of you. And we're on a journey, so we still have somewhere to go, okay? But none of you would be where you are today unless you had a mentor or 2 or maybe 3 in your life. So keeping it short and sweet, what for you in your context have been the ingredients of maybe an individual, a person, a role model that you felt was a mentor that helped you make a difference? Anyone can start off who feels like. Oh, ladies first again, great.
Okay. I have to say that I am where I am because of the mentor I had. And his name was James Whelan, was my first boss in UAE, who introduced me into the shipping world. I was not a shipping lawyer by profession when I came here. I was just a corporate lawyer. When he interviewed and told me that, asked me whether I would like to join in shipping department, he did not just mentor me, but he built who I am today in both character. He took me through cases. He believed in me more than I believed in myself at that time. He was the reason that I pursued the career and where I am today is only because of his mentoring. And when I say mentoring, he did not hold my hand. He told me to think critically. He took me case by case as to how a matter is handled, not through books, not through seminars, but actually through case studies. And I owe it to him. And he has brought that compassion in me that I would like to do the same for people I work with, I am able to work with. So I want to be that same person because there was somebody who did that for me. And I completely owe it to him.
Really wonderful, like belief, character, passion, learning, feeling you owe somebody something because they gave you something. That is really, really definitely on the right track. So Ravi or, Ravi, please.
Thank you, Vincent, again. By education, I am a mechanical engineer with MBA in finance and operations. And when I joined a shipping company, I do no clue for shipping and maritime worlds. But thanks to one gentleman, Captain K.C. Sehgal, was the chairman and who started Inter-Ocean Shipbroking in New Delhi. He encouraged me because when I started that job, I was more into the export of maritime equipment. I had no idea of shipbroking, I had no idea of share demolition. He encouraged me to go into the demolition broking, then into seven purchase, and then into demolition. And I spent good 13 years in that company.
Wow.
Always encouraged by Captain Sehgal, and after that is Sanatji Sehgal. Most of your people they know them. And they encouraged me, and whatever I know on shipping, it's all because of the faith and the knowledge given by Captain Shankar and by the team. But after I came here, I must also acknowledge another gentleman. His name is Dr. Krishna Prasad. You all know him. He is a former chairman and president of ICS. He encouraged me to be active part of ICS. Because of him, I became the general secretary. He encouraged me to become general secretary and then come into this vice chair and going forward along there. All thanks to Dr. Krishna Prasad.
Yeah, we'll talk about KP a little bit later, but you're absolutely right, a real motivator. But Cameron, I'm totally, if I can just come to you for a second, Cameron, this military thing has me intrigued, you know, if you can give us a little flavor. Was there someone in that context that had a major impact on?
Absolutely, yes. A couple of different captains that I sailed for, whose names I won't mention here, was operationally employed, but they fell into the category where they knew that they were a mentor to me, and I knew I was a mentor to them. There's a second category of mentoring that I'd like to mention.
Yep.
The first category is what's already been discussed. The second category of mentors that I've had in my career were people that I wanted to emulate, but they didn't even know that they were a mentor to me. Yep. I had formed an organic relationship where I looked up to them, I respected them, their mannerisms, they influenced me in these ways.
I can relate to that.
And I would say to everyone in this room, you can be a mentor to people without even knowing it, with your mannerisms, your professionalism, your respect, your integrity, and I encourage everyone to do so.
So that's like a role model is forming organically between two people as they encounter each other in business, in life, I guess. So.
That's exactly right. My context was the military.
Yeah.
The particular military naval leaders that I had were military leaders tend to be highly trained in how to lead and influence others, but these were people who had no idea that they were mentoring me, but they were.
Yeah. That's very impressive. Enjoy.
Thank you very much. In fact, when I saw the title, it actually took me around 30 years back when I started my career. Middle of a mountain of law books, along with a 70-year-old, very short-term senior, supposed to be my mentor, who always wanted to get points on his papers, like decisions, citations, research. I had no MacBook, I had no iPhones, I had no internet, I had no computer, I had no app as you have seen before today. I had only one app, which was application of mind, to please my senior, or rather the so-called mentor, because it was a survival, it's a question of survival at the law firm, because they take it very well in Bombay. So it was my duty to ensure to retain in the firm. That was the biggest challenge for me. But today, when you ask me who is your mentor, then again going back to the very same old 70-year-old, very short-term work guy, he is my mentor. Not because of the fact that he has shared the knowledge, but because of the fact that he has taught me the code craft, basically. Like, if you permit me just 1 minute, I will.
Please go ahead. You're on good time.
The best example.
Yep.
I was arguing in a court before Justice Malimat in Bombay High Court. I was 26 years old. And I was so confident that I would be able to argue the matter because I've studied so well, better than anyone, including better than the judge or my senior. So I was so confident that thoroughly arguing. Then suddenly, while he was such in full swing, my senior, the so-called mentor who was sitting behind me, he rushed me and he told me, Joy, stop your arguments. Seek an adjournment. Then I thought, why? Because I'm in the full swing, and I was trying to convince the judge also what exactly my question of law. But since he has mentioned, then I very diplomatically I said, Joshua, I need to have a look at the particular points. I will be permitted to, adjourn the matter for 7 days or 10 days. Immediately when I came out, then I asked him, sir, why did you? Because I was so confident and sure that I would be able to convince the judge.
Yeah.
So he said, John, haven't you noticed that the judge was closing his eyes and was taking his pen and quickly like this? I didn't notice. But I noticed, Joy, I'm in the profession for the last 30, 40 years. I know the gentleman also, the judge who's sitting on the dais. Rather than learning the law point and the legal point, you should know the courtcraft, you should know before whom you are arguing. So generally this gentleman, this particular judge, he closed his eyes in the afternoon and then started, picking his pencil, which shows that he's frustrated with your arguments. You cannot convince him. The best possible option is to seek an adjournment. So that should be the way. So this is what we call according to mentorship. Not the knowledge that he has shared to me, but according to me, this is what exactly the young generation need. Not the knowledge. Because the knowledge, competency are definitely interconnected and interrelated. But this probably you may not get in Google, you may not get in any AI app.
That's really a great story, and I have a pencil as well, so be careful if I start flicking it, okay? But having said that, there's something, you didn't use the word, but you can see it. When they talk about their mentor and they visualize the person in their mind, and I don't want this to get too exciting, but the words are passion and love, okay? You can see it in their eyes when you're talking about this person that had an impact on your life. You can see you smile in your eyes and the passion. So this means it has had a transformative effect on your life. For me, I had a mentor as well, and his name was James, Professor James Byrne of the Institute of International Banking Law and Practice. And he just inspired me, okay, with his depth of knowledge, his willingness to share, and also I spent a lot of time with him, and his words stuck in my mind. He used to always say to me, Vin, if you can just get your act together, you will be great. And he must have sent that to me 1,000 times. So even before we started this evening, we're always a little bit nervous before a show or something, even though we've done it 1,000 times. His words are always in my mind just before I start. If I can get my act together, this is going to be great. But it's easy you get your act together when you've partners like these guys here. And the second thing is I'm giving you away all my tricks, okay? He told me years ago, you just don't look very intelligent. What? That's not a nice thing to tell a guy in his mid-20s. You just don't look very intelligent. You need to wear specs. So I started wearing specs. And when I started wearing specs, I go home and I visit my mother, and she said, you look very intelligent. And the next thing he told me was, he said, when you're walking around at something important, always carry a book. So now every time you meet me, I'm carrying a book, and it's always a book about law or about ICC rules, about cases or something. Very impressive, but this just shows you the impact one person can have actually on you. So going forward a little bit, when you think about the mentors you've had in your life and the transformative effect, does it seem a little bit haphazard? That I kind of feel I was lucky to meet Jim and one or two others, but can it be done in a more structured manner? Can we actually harness the power of mentorship and support, etc., so that it has a broader, impactful impact? So mentorship really will matter and will elevate organization success. And anyone who wishes to pick up that question can pick up.
Thank you. So when I started my career, it always looks a little bit haphazard. Whom to go and talk, whom to get ideas, what to do next. That is what when you are in profession, not really very careful. But I was lucky to have that. But when I got into the senior roles, I have my own shipbroking company called Arus Maritime, where I do shipbroking. So I have made sincere effort that the colleagues who are joining me, they are well mentored so that they are able to take up the job very effectively. And going forward, as I can see now that my team has well taken up, and whenever I'm not in the office also, when I'm not able, the things are being done.
Okay.
If I go back to ICS, the courses that we do, the examinations that we do, we make sure that it is properly kind of a mentorship where the student who is coming is able to select the right subjects for either the diploma or PQE, or even somebody is very young, we tell them go ahead and do general study shipping so that their knowledge becomes more structured and they are able to grasp the commercial shipping in a better way. In a shorter span of time with not much investing. I'll give you another example. I am a co-founder into a startup called Shift. A lot of people here know.
Yes.
So a couple of our founders who have been working for the last couple of years to make it successful, and we felt that okay, now possibly we need somebody who has seen the world, who has done the part of various startups and all. We need a guidance from him. So luckily we have Captain Anand Chopra here, who has been guiding us in Shift. Thank you, sir. So 3 things wanted to share. Thanks, sir.
That's really interesting, Ravi. And I think what ICS has done is quite unique. We've all wonderful organizations, and ICC is a wonderful organization. But I think somehow you've managed to build a very informal network of professionals, but that there's a backstop of professional education that goes through all levels of the organization. And there's no ego in this organization. I haven't come across it, actually. It's quite amazing. Whereas ICC is a wonderful organization, but I come across ego every now and again, you know, but that's it. So Cameron, could I go back to you again and maybe enlighten us, and then I'll come back to you, Meena, after that, and to Joy.
Sure, yeah, I think the question was, can it be done, can mentorship be done in a structured way? And I think absolutely the answer is yes.
Oh.
Generally speaking, as I alluded to before, I don't think the role of a mentor is to lay out a path for the mentee. It's to assist the mentee to find the path that they want. And this goes to the psychological elements. The difference between finding a good career versus a fulfilled life, a life of joy and contentment. I think the role, as I said before, is almost to hold a mirror up to the mentee and assist them to identify strengths in themselves that they didn't know that they had, assist them to identify weaknesses that they may wish to mitigate. But largely, the role of the mentor, I don't believe, and I'm not a big believer in setting extremely long-term goals, 10 years, 5 years. I'm more of a believer in what I call micro-ambitious, short to medium-term goals, 3 to 12 months. Find a task that is going to be 3 to 12 months and work harder. And I think mentors can be very valuable in setting those sort of goals, or systems set those sort of goals, and then saying pause. Now look around. Let's not set a 10-year goal, let's do 12 months. And then pause and look around. The best things that have happened to me came from my career.
Okay. I think that's very interesting because it's kind of a step-by-step approach. And if you can make regular incremental positive steps, you create a momentum. And that momentum can help transform someone's life or bring them forward. But you know, mentor, it begins with the letters MEN, okay? So I wonder, is there something interesting there? But that'll bring us back to WISTA, the Women's International Shipping and Trading Association. And you have thousands of women members across, I don't know, 50, 60 countries. And this has happened so quickly. So there must be some form of mentoring or womentoring, okay, in this women's association. What has led to that successful growth?
Well, firstly, I'm sure everyone will agree here that shipping is still a very male-dominated world.
Okay.
So WISTA came about because of that over 50 years ago, because women wanted to get into this field, which was very, very difficult. I can give
Why did they want to get into this field?
Why? Because it's a challenging, it's different. I will give you my own example. Right? I was doing corporate commercial law. I found that so boring, and I said, no, I can't live doing this. Unfortunately, if I was back in India, I would have rather taken criminal law. But in this part of the world, criminal law is not really worth doing.
Sure.
It's more for local lawyers. And when I was offered shipping, I jumped on it because it was something that was creative for me, something different, something I
Okay.
had to learn. While a corporate commercial, I want no disrespect to that. It's a very monotonous kind of work.
Okay.
You're looking into contracts, you're finding the bad points, you're finding the good points. But shipping isn't like that. Every claim, every case is different. It could be the very same ship that has got 5 different cargoes, same bill of lading or different bill of lading, but each one has a different story.
Different story.
If you get into it. So that is where WISTA came about, to help women, especially this is an organization for management and senior management people, to try and foster, mentor women to come into this industry, that there is space for them. If you are there and if you are determined, you will succeed. I am a living example. 30 years ago, when I used to go into a conference, there used to be 300 to 400 men and me, 1 woman. And I'm sorry to say, the men used to look at me saying, "What the hell are you doing here, little lady?" So,
Well, little lady, you've definitely changed all of that. Okay, let's be clear about
I
that.
was blessed with mentors and people who believed in me. So I like to give the same opportunity. And WISTA, the reason I am a board member in the WISTA is to help other women to come and not to think that they can't do it. They can, if they wish, and they will. They're determined. The world is open for them.
Okay, so I'm going to go to one of Janini's questions, and Joy, I'm going to bring this one to you. I think because you mentioned the app, you didn't have an app all those years ago, and now you're using loads of apps. But is there a role for AI in terms of mentorship? Like I'm a recent convert to AI, but in the last year, I'm using it, asking questions that help me formulate something, help me move to the next step, but it's still artificial, okay? So what's your take on AI for mentorship?
See, the young generation, they're brilliant, very intelligent. You don't have to mentor them, they're focused. They know what to say, what not to say. They know what to write, what not to write. They know what to think and what not to think. If you mentor them, you will be actually confusing them. This is what my viewpoint. For example, like I'm running a very small law firm, 23 lawyers on board. I'm the founder of the firm, 5 paid paralegal, and few clerks as well. Working in a different jurisdiction as well. And all these years, I have never ever come across an instance where no matter whether it's the senior level or the junior level, requires a mentorship from my end. Because I believe that, the youngsters are more knowledgeable. I still say more knowledgeable than you because of their technology. They know what it is. In the courtroom, when you argue, if you come across a question of law which is challenging, you just look at your junior. You just look at the juniors, you get the answer immediately. Within a second, you get the solution. Look, this is the legal question today. You don't have to say anything. So that means you're competent enough to do it, basically. So mentoring means that aging against a factor. Like for example, an 80-year-old mentor is, trying to mentor a 25, 26-year-old youngster doesn't work, according to me. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think I would disagree a little bit with you, and I think Meena is going to disagree a little bit, but I've got the pencil, so be careful how I start spinning it. Because I think it goes back to what Cameron said. I think there's an element of character building, and that is so important. And like, I didn't believe AI could do so much 2 years ago. Now I'm being convinced. So maybe I'll be convinced again. But I don't think it'll ever fill that role of character building strength of character, loyalty, determination, And sometimes instinct is better than intelligence, okay? Especially, I think, if you're in a tricky military situation, sometimes instinct is all you've got, But Meena, I think you were going to make a comment till I rudely jumped in.
Yeah, I sadly disagree with you because you're confusing a kind of training with mentorship. That is not what mentorship is. Mentorship is giving practical advice based on your experience, which AI cannot ever give. It can give you answers to a question, but how do you apply the law? I knew all my laws, but my mentor taught me how and when you need to apply, just like how your mentor told you that, the judge is not listening to you. You wouldn't know it, you wouldn't get it from AI. It's knowledge, it's his experience that teaches. And mentorship is not training. It's like he said, it is showing them the path that actually they can choose. But they needed guidance on can I not? It's not just teaching them, but helping them to succeed, helping them to prove themselves. And I think mentorship cannot be ever replaced by AI.
Well, Ravi, I'm going to come to you in a second, but it's great that we have a little bit of variance or difference of opinion, especially for an Irishman. If an Irishman goes out at night for a walk and he doesn't have a fight with someone, he goes to bed depressed. It's just part of our DNA. So I'm getting very, very happy here. But it reminded me, if I can just tell you a 30-second story. When I was given the honor of speaking here, I was telling my wife how wonderful it was and how wonderful I am that I am now going to be the moderator for this mentorship, okay? And then we're chatting, and she wasn't paying much heed to me because she hasn't done that for the last 25 or 6 years anyway. But anyway, we're having a chat, and then I said to her, I keep putting my foot in it, I said, BM, when I think about it, I really have been your mentor. And she looked at me, and I said, yeah, I think of all the years of guidance and support and direction I've given you. And she said, well, Vin, you've never said a truer thing in your life. You definitely have been my mentor. You have been my tormentor, morning, noon, and night. So I think that's a good exit back to you, Ravi,
Yeah, that's a good perception.
It's not a perception, it's very much a reality, okay? Sorry, Ravi, back to you. Yeah.
So, on the mentorship, sometimes we really get a little bit confused that are we mentoring somebody to take my job, or I'm mentoring somebody to become the real person what he is? Are we going to make sure that the talent comes out of him? That has been hidden. Probably he's not realizing it. That's what we have seen in the schools, in the colleges. People say that, okay, I'm not making you a professor or a teacher, I'm making you a professional. This is what you can do, or you can become a sportsman, you can become a musician. Sometimes that mentor helps them, tell them that yes, you have the potential, you can do that. So sometimes you confuse that, okay, I am mentoring a trainee to take my job. No, that's okay. That's one part of mentoring, but mentoring is much wider actually.
So Cameron, have you seen individuals like transform due to, let's say, good mentorship? Like someone who seems like a lost soul. I know I'm not using the right words and maybe not getting anywhere military. I don't know what, but just to the impact of someone at the right time, the right place, that they get things together.
Oh, absolutely. The foundation cornerstone of mentorship is mutual respect, both personal and professional. And I might respectfully disagree with some of the panel that mentors are usually within your command structure or within your organisation. I actually think the best thing a mentor can be is unbiased. And so usually that means someone outside of your direct command structure, maybe in your career stream, but somewhere else. On to Vincent, of your question, ever since someone transformed. Absolutely, yes. The biggest gift that a mentor can give is confidence, I think. I mean, everyone in this room, if you're here attending these events, mentoring, you're quite intelligent. The number one thing that I've seen in intelligent people throughout my life is they tend to lack confidence. They tend to doubt themselves, question themselves. The best things that mentors have given me is someone to say, do it. Pick a path and execute it. Be an executor. Find something and make a decision on it. 8 out of 10 of these decisions will be right. 2 out of 10 will be a disaster, but you attempted it. Someone to give you that nudge to say, you can do this and you must try. And that is where that transformation experience.
That's where that transformation happens. And the difference between a leadership and mentorship, maybe Joy, I come back to you on this one. I think it falls naturally into your lap after the last.
See, there are even different types of mentorship.
Okay.
It depends on person to person, it depends on organization to organization. And if a person would have knowledge, he becomes competent. Knowledge is a part of competency. So if you have the knowledge, competency all comes into picture. And if you have knowledge and competency together, he gets confidence. If you have confidence, competence and knowledge, then the question of mentoring is at a different level altogether. So you can see one of the questions, very interesting question.
Yeah.
See, actually do you want to do the mentoring for the senior level employees or for the corporate management level employees?
Yeah.
So you actually don't need to have a senior level management mentor, is not required. You concentrate on the youngsters. Of course, I'm not saying that they don't need a mentorship. Of course, obviously they need it. But you need to concentrate on the young generation to mentor. And I'm also, to a certain extent, I'm also the same page what Meena said. Of course, it is required, no doubt about it. But it depends on person to person. It depends on the institution to institution.
Oh, okay.
If you have confidence, if you have knowledge, if you are competent enough, then mentoring should be in a different level altogether, automatically. So this is what. And coming back to the leadership, of course, completely different. Mentorship and leadership, of course, is different, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But a good mentor definitely, become a good leader as well.
Yeah.
So leadership, of course, we watch it, we monitor it, we follow.
Yeah. Back to you, Cameron, please. Yeah.
If I might just quickly touch on that.
Sure.
I've had some experience with military leadership. Military leadership is asking people to give the ultimate sacrifice, is trying to influence people to give their lives for that cause if they have to. I would define the key difference between leadership and mentorship. They both depend on mutual respect.
Yep.
But leadership is laying out a path for someone and influencing them to take it.
Okay.
Mentorship is allowing that person to discover the path.
Okay.
It's giving them the tools to discover the path themselves. Leadership, I lay out the path that I want you to take. Mentorship, I give you the tools to find that path yourself. That's how I would define it.
No, that's really great, Cameron. Another word coming through to me now is consistency. I think for a mentor to have an impact, there needs to be consistent support, guidance, and just speaking of technology, I have a very good friend in Bangladesh, and he's just after writing a book, and he never thought he'd write a book in his life. But I haven't been helping him. I've been, I think, mentoring him or guiding him or something. But what's very interesting, we chat a lot on Zoom or whatever, and I noticed that he kind of gets bored when we're on Zoom. But when we actually meet, and he's told me he loves it, because when we meet and we're talking about his book, we argue tooth and nail constantly, okay? But it's kind of a work of love, okay? Because we're going in the same direction, and I know this guy can do this right, but he's not doing it right. He's not applying himself correctly. So we go crazy. But when I'm leaving after all these arguments, he says, oh, that was great. When we're having the Zoom call, somehow you just can't get there. Or if you do get hard on a Zoom call, it comes across extremely negative and downgrading. Whereas one-to-one, you can joke, you can tap someone on the shoulder, you can, I think it's a unique part of mentorship for me. Sorry. Okay, Ravi, we'll find another question for you. Well, I think, does ICS have any structured mentoring program I think you have, yes?
Yeah, I mean, especially here in ICS Middle East, we take very pride that we try to mentor the students who are coming and joining the ICS programs. We mentor them a lot. Basically, we make them think that what they want to be in 5 years, 10 years down the line, and encourage them to take these subjects which make them achieve that dream. So that is one of the, and then we make them to be that okay, each subject or each vertical has its own plus point and negative point. Are you able to cope up with that? Do you want to take this up? We always make sure when they are preparing for the exam, we make sure that they are well prepared in terms of how to write the exam. We have a very special program that we call PREP. Just before the exams we do, where we really mentor these people how to write, what exactly to expect from the questions, how they should study. All those things we take care of that. So I mean, here in the Middle East, we are really very structured in terms of mentoring.
Yeah, well, you speak so softly about it. You think that you're absolutely right on point. Think, prepare, dream, and do. You use those words there in a matter of 4 minutes. Like, that's pretty powerful language. And when you're doing that in a structured environment over a period of time that's consistent again, I think that's really, really important. So what's next for WISTA? How many lady members do you have that are spreading the powerful female mentorship across the globe?
Well, across the globe, we are more than 6,000 members as of date. And in Dubai alone, we are now over 100 members. And in less than 2 years.
Wow, that's amazing. 6,000 ladies.
6,000 ladies.
And can I join?
Of course you can.
Oh, great. That's just
Captain Anuj is a member, a very valuable member of the WISTA organization. We need men support, without which we cannot do well.
Well, if you haven't got men, you can't mentor, surely.
Exactly,
No.
yes. Like your wife.
Oh, don't, okay. We'll skip that. Okay. So we're doing good on time, and I just see any more questions. Should mentorship have a transactional nature? What is the mentor expecting in return for their time, focus, expertise, and support? I guess we all could. Let's all give an answer to that. But maybe it's a weakness. But for me, when I'm mentoring or think I'm mentoring people, I think for me, it's the feeling of appreciation. And it's the feeling you get from someone, there's somewhere I really want to go, and then your help is helping me a little step every now and again to get there. And I think if you can get that feeling from another human being, it's very, very positive, it's very, very encouraging, and it's very, very fulfilling. So maybe any other keywords you would come to mind,
I think the most fulfilling part of mentoring is actually to see the person you have mentored rising up to leadership posts and being able, that the cycle comes round, and your success and your happiness. For me, that is the real joy, is when I see that the person I have mentored is today confident and has reached a level where he can be a mentor or she can be a mentor. I think that is the success and what we as mentors expect. I don't think it's anything else that would make us more satisfied than that.
So it's not really transactional, although there's a transactional component with it. It's really, I think, human nature, okay? A really solid foundation part of human nature. And maybe, Ravi, to you, please.
So, maritime is a very unique industry where we see that a lot of young professionals who join the maritime industry either as a trainees or interns or going forward with even the commercial managers, chartered brokers and all. Many times we have seen that a lot of these people, even they don't have the prior maritime education before the industry.
Okay.
Yeah, that is one of the very unique things in maritime industry.
Yeah.
Sometimes we need to really mentor them.
Yeah.
That what exactly they need to do, what exactly they need to study. So many times people go for MBA, people go for various things, people go for ICS, and we try to tell them, see, now that you have come to the maritime industry, do you want to be here? Do you see your career here? Then you mentor them that, okay, now that you are here, these are the things you should be doing. These are the things you should be reading, and these are the market reports, these are the journals, these are the written by somebody very famous and all. So we do the mentoring. As far as me personally go, I love giving back to the community.
Yeah.
I mean, I have got a lot from the community in the last 26, 27 years, and I now sitting here, I love to give back to the industry, to the people, and I make sure that they get something from me whenever they're talking to me.
Yeah, we can see that very clearly with you, Ravi, and I think we can see that you're helping people make their decisions about their journey of where they want to go in their career, and that's really, really commendable. Joy, please go right ahead. Please, yeah, sure.
How do you differentiate between mentoring, coaching, training, teaching, and guidance? Very interesting question. I can see the question here. How do you differentiate between mentoring, coaching, training, teaching, and guidance? So basically, do you think, I'm just asking myself and the audience, you as well. Do you think that, is it possible to purchase mentoring by giving money? I mean, some type of subscription, is it possible? I don't think so. I mean, it's my view. Whereas if you go for coaching, training, probably, of course, it's money. Of course, there is a commercial involvement is there. But mentoring, I don't think it is possible. It's a very interesting question in fact. Mentoring, of course, I don't think it can be commercially viable. Nowadays, you can even see ads. You have a fight with your wife, you have no peace of mind. Come and pay $1,000. We will train you how to deal with your wife. These are the rich can be coming across. There are a lot of ads which probably you can see. So, similarly, you can see those kind of things.
I'm not going to fall for that, okay?
Just one point to add. Normally, coaching, training, and teaching, there is a structure for that, which is pre-decided. When somebody is coming to a coaching or a training, so you have to call that, okay, after 6 months you are getting this activity,
very
after
interesting.
1 year this is done. But mentoring is not. It is very, very unstructured. It is very, very intuitive between two persons.
Okay.
It is very private between two persons. That I'm seeing up to somebody and I'm getting inspiration from him. And there is no transactional. It is just that there are people whom I've seen maybe in TV or somewhere, I get inspiration from this.
I think you're right, Ravi, and I think there's something a little bit unusual in it, in that you're seeing a shadow of yourself sometimes in someone who is, you can see, is struggling at something. Struggling isn't probably the right word. It's striving to get somewhere, and you can relate because you were there, and you can actually see that they have some of the talents you probably had, and maybe you can help them along that journey. That's how I feel about it anyway. Cameron?
Yes, absolutely. Going to the transactional nature, I'm aware of some paid mentoring programs, so you can find a professional mentor on the internet, and this is, I think, where we find the difference between mentoring and knowledge transfer. A mentor must always be impartial and unbiased. You can have a transactional nature of that. What you're missing is a great mentor is someone who is emotionally invested in your success. And I'm skeptical of paid mentoring programs.
Sure.
Probably don't find that. Their investment is in getting $300 from you. I'm not saying they're not good people.
Sure.
The other thing that can be missing is, as a mentee, finding a mentor, it should be someone that you wish to emulate in one way or another. I think you are less likely to find that in a paid scheme. So of the 5 categories that were on the board, mentor, coach, teacher, etc., only one of them, everyone's transferring knowledge, but only one of those is really emotionally invested in your success. And that's the mentor and the teacher.
Yeah, I think there's that feeling of the need for sincerity in the connection, that it's sincere. I think that's a fundamental human need, for you to take confidence in someone and to rely on them 100%. You need to feel that sincerity. But regarding mentorship, just a short story is with me and a number of mentors, but there's one outstanding one. I think I feel the same from you, Meena, and the same name, James. But sometimes, occasionally, I surprise myself by saying something intelligent, okay? It doesn't happen very often, okay? But when it does happen, something really intelligent, I know where the words came from. I came from Jim, from focusing so clearly on the way he articulates stuff, etc. It just impressed me so much that occasionally I say something, and I go, wow, that was really, really cool. It comes from him. And that's definitely that connection through mentorship. So is there a minimum age to be a mentor?
I don't think so. There's any age at all. It all depends on how good and how capable you are of mentoring someone else. Mentoring is a trust that between two people as well. You have to understand that it is not just my boss mentored me. No, all bosses do not mentor. There are more bosses who don't mentor because they are afraid of their own position. And I've seen that. So mentoring has got nothing to do with age. It's a part, it's a part and the confidence that you build in your mentee, and you know and you make them confident even during their difficult decisions. So I don't think that answer is and in fact from that well comes the other questions which they have written. How would you feel about being mentored by someone more junior? It does not matter. The position really does not matter. For example, I will tell you, I was working with a company for 22 years called GAC, and in my position, I used to head up the P&I division. I used to head up the legal in the company, media in-house. But when it came to technical things, I never felt ashamed to go and ask people who were technically qualified on a ship, because I didn't know anything about a ship, and there were a lot of captains in the organization on hierarchy. Maybe I was higher than them. It made no difference. I learned from them on ships about anchors, about things that I didn't know, and so I don't think there's anything to do with junior or senior or manager. You can be the top guy in a company, but you may not be a good mentor. So it's got nothing to do with the junior and senior position, if you ask me.
Joy, please. Yeah.
Meena said, I had an experience. We had an office in Singapore. We just recently closed down that office and we moved down to Malaysia. Mm-hmm. It is because of the word junior. I mean, your experience with junior visiting the Singapore office. She was trying to convince me, so the cost-wise in Singapore, it's too expensive in terms of salary, because we want to pay a lawyer in Singapore. Your salary is based on the bottom of Singapore. They decide the salary. So, if you move to Malaysia, two things. Number one is it's a one-time expenses in Malaysia, and these are all discussing with 3-year-old junior. She was trying to say that if you move to Malaysia, your cost is 1. And again in Singapore, you are competing with high-profile law firms like HFW, Clyde, Thomas Cooper, Joseph Tan, Michelle Darome. So we are dealing with them. Whereas in Malaysia, shipping is Malaysia. There is no one, and your cost is only 1 time. See, that actually triggered me, prompted me to take a decision. So I said, you are right, absolutely correct. So we closed the Singapore office and we moved on to Malaysia because of one more reason. Because in Singapore we had the foreign law practice license. So the clients in Singapore, they now leave us. You know why? Because they are happy with our services, no matter where you sit. Mm-hmm. Right. So doesn't affect your clientele as well. So because of that reason, I'm talking about a 3-year junior where we don't need the thought process and we have taken a decision.
Someone shook up your thought process. Some younger person.
Absolutely.
Great. Sorry, Ravi.
I would like to add one point.
Yeah.
As we grow into our profession, we become conditioned. So once we are conditioned, then we have a set way of thinking. It is always better to look at the juniors who are less preconditioned, who have a lot more information, and they can think differently than you. Always speak to them. It is not that they are saying only then only they can be a mentor. If they are junior, they are younger, perfectly they can be mentors. They are bringing something fresh to you. Listen to them.
I think that's really important. What we're going to do is now we're going to kind of take 1 minute, 2 minutes, just maybe a point of knowledge or guidance or words of wisdom that we just want to finish up with, because we'll just be an hour on stage in maybe 5 minutes. So we'll go on another 5-7 minutes. So Meena, a word of wisdom or whatever context, you know.
Okay. I find it personally a real privilege that I have been able to mentor a few people, and I would love to continue to do that, and I will do that, not because of anything, because it's the most satisfying, and giving back to society and the industry where I belong and where I have got everything I had is what I would like to do. And I would always say to women and to every single person that if you are determined, you can do it. Do not feel ashamed to go to someone and ask them questions and help. And you never know, that person may be your mentor for life. And that's how friendships are made. So that's how life has been for me, and I'm sure it can be an easy journey for you if you learn to trust and believe in yourself, be confident that there are many people out there who can help you.
So trust and believe yourself. Thank you, Meena. That was wonderful. Ravi.
I mean, we had 1 hour session. I don't want people to go out and force themselves as mentor to somebody. Because that is really a disaster. I have seen in professional life that somebody comes to you, no, I want to become your mentor, or I am your mentor, please listen to me. So please don't do that. Keep it natural, keep it in a very humane way.
Human way, I think very important. Thank you, Ravi.
Yeah, probably that would be an extension of what Ravi said. So for juniors, the youngsters, I would say, when you select a member, you must be very cautious. The frequency, the wavelength, the caliber, that you have to be aligned with yours, with the mentor, to gel with the system, to gel with him, to select and elect your mentor. It is very, very, very important for you guys to take your career to the next level. It is very important.
The final thing I'd say, the essence of tonight's discussion has been about organisational success and professional mentoring. I would also encourage everyone in the room to find yourself as a mentor, assist people to find a happy and fulfilled life.
Happy
It may not be just to do with their career. You might be able to guide their wider life strategy to ignite passions in them that they're not aware of necessarily. These may not come from a job, they may not come from a career.
Yeah, Cameron, that's wonderful. I think if we can find a happy and fulfilled life, I think everything else will just fall into place. So they're real words of wisdom. I'm just going to take 1 minute to tell you a little story about my mentor again. Professor Byrne died when he was 72, about 6 years ago. But so he mentored me for about 40 years. But when he was mentoring me for about 10 years, I was a much younger, active guy then. But I really thought I was a hot shot in trade finance and ICC rules. Really, really did. You know, and I remember one day asking him, we were after doing a conference, and I kind of did a pretty good show at the conference. And I said, Jim, I hope you don't mind me asking, you know, compared to all these other guys, you know, how would you rate me? He said, oh, you're great. You're great. You're one of the best. I said, yeah, I kind of knew that. Yeah. And I said, yeah, but when I answer a question, these technical questions, how often do I get the answer right? And I was expecting a really positive answer, 99%. He said, Vin, you're better than most of them. You get it right about 10% of the time. I said, what? He said, 10% of the time. Okay. Then about 7 years ago, he was, just the power of humor as well, which inspired me. He was suffering from terminal cancer, and he was losing weight and everything, but he was still a character, you know. So we were at an event in London. He said we should go for a coffee or a drink or something. So we went out anyway. And I couldn't resist asking him 30 years later. I said, Jim, I hope you don't mind me asking you again. I said, but I think you must admit I've improved a lot over the years. He said, oh, immensely, Vincent, amazing. You're incredible. I said, yeah. I said, but now, I said, when I'm asked a question, you know, how often do I get the answer correct? And he said, oh, much, much better. He said, at least 50% of the time. So 50-50, hit and miss, that's me. So be very careful if you ask me a technical question. But I think the final words of wisdom as sorting out our life, I think we can give our panel here a big round of applause. I think it was a wonderful, wonderful contribution. And I think we enjoyed it, yes? Yeah. So thank you very much for your valuable time, and we look forward to networking with you. And I guess we'll hand it back to you, Janine. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I learned a lot. At least 2 of my 5 questions were answered to start with. I would like to just, I have a tendency to reflect back on each one of these speakers, and I will try to do my best. So Livingstone, Campbell Livingstone, if I'm pronouncing it right, is a cornerstone of what you were saying, is something that I truly agree, because we are looking, we're not necessarily looking for a mentor-mentee that's formally organized all the time. I have at least 10 mentors that I could identify here. Captain Errol, Christian, Ali, even Vincent, quite a lot of people, as I see, and therefore I fully agree with where you come from. And again, mentorship as a mirror is what we are reflecting, and not really a map who would just guide you. Okay, left, right, sit for 5 minutes. That's not what we're looking for. And it's all obviously a wisdom that's recycled after generations. So you would have learned from somebody that's coming to that with us, and then he shares it with someone else, and then Ravi shares it with me, and that's the cycle that gets recycled in a positive manner, and that's the wisdom that's recycling that we're talking about. And I think Dr. Meena Mathews, we can get rid of probably mentor as a keyword, because there was a proper noun in Greek mythology, and it was not bound by time, so we call it a shiro, if you like. You can definitely do that. And thanks, Ravi, again for answering all of my questions on reverse mentorship, which you did in disguise. Thank you for that. And I enjoyed story from Vincent, and a joyous story from you as well. So thank you a lot. Thanks so much. And I would like to now welcome Chairman Ali to honor our speakers.
Oh, thanks very much. Thank you. Oh, great. Thank you. Yeah, it's my. Thank you. Trouble is, I can't read a word of what I've written. A lot of good words here, though. And let's have a group photo. Yeah.
I think it's also a group photo now.
Yeah. Means. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I would like to call upon our ICS Global Vice Chairman on stage to honor our new members.
Okay.
Very good.
Thank you.
He's got some interesting news to share on how we connect dots across associations. So
yeah, has to be done. Yeah. Thank you. Great job.
ICS Global Vice
Thanks,
Chairman.
Cameron. It was good. Great pleasure. Yeah. Thank you. We mentored each other.
Congratulations, Captain Anil.
Oh, great. Hi. Thanks. Good to see you.
Ali, do you want to join on stage as well, please, to honor our members? May I please call upon Ms. Elena? Congratulations.
Thank you.
May I call upon Ms. Vinay Govinda, please? Congratulations. May I call upon Mr. Syed Mohammed Tariq, stage please. Congratulations, Syed. Thank you so much, Ali. Question, a few words in your answer.
Thank you, Janani, and that was a fantastic session. Thanks. Keep it light-hearted in the first few minutes, and I think you really drove some of the points with that kind of an attitude. So very well done. A big round of applause to all of you once again. Quickly leading in the global board of the ICS, just wanted to give you an update that there is a formal mentorship program which is going to be launched by the ICS globally. We wanted to launch this almost 2 years back as part of the membership committee initiative. However, we were struggling to find the right kind of platform, because without a proper platform, a good platform, it's not possible to do that at a global scale. But as we speak, we have a unique CRM which is being implemented, which is primarily a member connect program, but it is being extended into being a mentor connect program as well, because we believe that 4,000 plus members and growing in numbers, and the professional students who are there can do a lot in terms of giving back to the community in a very structured way. We already find that there are programs by WISTA, by Youngship, which have been launched, and we are also connecting with them at a global level for an MOU. The MOU is under discussion now. With WISTA, we had an MOU of 5 years back, which has been revamped and enhanced to ensure that ICS connects directly with like-minded organizations, and irrespective of whether it is a women-led organization or a men-led organization, to ensure that we connect them to the members who can be mentors. Thank you very much. Enjoy the evening.
So precisely a year ago, I would say a year and a half ago, when I moved back from Perth to UAE, the first responsibility that I was given is to head the Understanding Living program, and not knowing much on how best we can get the traction and also involve quite a wider maritime community. We launched our Understanding Living program, and we've onboarded more than 150 students in the last 1.5 years, where 60% of those students were generalists. They were neither managing ships, they knew nothing about shipping, but they sit within the core functions of either handling finance, marketing, and still supporting some of the core functions and operations and chartering. So I think I'm super proud and honored to give away certificates of completion and success to our Understanding Shipping students. So may I please welcome, just give me one moment. Kajal Mishra on stage, please. And may I please call upon Vivek Sharma, our president, to honor our Understanding Shipping graduates. Thank you. We have some of our tutors that we have onboarded as well newly, who may not necessarily sit within the ICS, but they span across different organizations. Congratulations, Kajal. May I please call upon Lakshmi Jayade on stage, please. Congratulations, Lakshmi, and nice to have you back on a different forum. May I call upon Mazin Ahmed Yusuf, please. Congratulations, Mazin. We have Monica Hazel Miller on stage. Thank you so much, Monica, for all the interactions we've had during the session. May I call upon Pillai Raji Radhakrishnan on stage, please. Congratulations. What's even more interesting is some of these students have upgraded their career path and taken up diploma and professional qualifications as well, because this has purely set the scene on which path should they, undertake. So this has also acted in a way of a mentor, so to speak. So can I have Ravindra Jagade on stage, please? Congratulations, Ravi. Congratulations, Sandesh Parnekar. Have you on stage, please. And yet another announcement, because every time that we were running cohorts, we were always adding new topics that really matters. And thanks to Mr. Vincent, who would be adding more value to our current cohort in having financing and international trade. So thank you so much, Vincent. Congratulations, Shailesh Bala. Please can I have you on stage? Shailesh Bala. May I call upon Simran Chok on stage, please. But apart from the fact that you have theoretical knowledge, it's also about how do you practically apply it in your business and processes, and that's more important. Congratulations, Valtra Mishra. May I please have you on stage, please? May I please call upon Vipul Bhai Palman on stage. Thank you. So may I please have Zoya Mariam on stage? Congratulations, Zoya. Interestingly, we've got this stream going live, so you can share it with your colleagues and friends, and please do watch it later. Thank you so much, Vivek. And I think we are closely heading to finish line, but I've got a couple of announcements to make. So we have registrations which would be open for understanding shipping and also navigator series. So innovation is at the cusp. In fact, the way we are transforming, the way we are coming up with new programs is truly absurd. And we started off with navigator series, and thank you, Vincent, for agreeing to launch this second module for Navigator series on Incoterms in action. So one may question, how different is it from other programs? So we wanted to have a bite-sized learning where it would be just for 2 hours, but we would get straight into concepts and practical use cases rather than diving deep into just theoretical aspects. So here you'll be given practical problems to solve, and Vincent will hold your hands to ensure you understand how you connect contract of sale and product parties, and I will let Vincent, share a few words later in the high tea if you'd like. Otherwise, thank you so much everybody for joining in. I truly learned a lot, and I'm sure this one. So we've got our next networking event, which I truly mentioned. It's always not a specialist topic, but here it's all about mapping the culture of high-risk organizations. So what would be the definition of high risk is also something we would unveil. And we also have our annual general meeting. This is where all the big brains, we come together to understand what exactly we would be nailing down in terms of our pathway, our roadmaps, and how do we bring in students and members together, and how do we even connect better with WISTA, with ICC, and this will be the core themes behind what we would be discussing. So we look forward to seeing you all again and getting the best out of ICS and spreading this with a broader sense of community that we all share. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all at the Thank you.
Thank you, Annie. So, the last one.
They did a good job.
I know you were great. I really enjoyed it. You got on. Oh, it's rolling. Yeah.